In this video, I will talk about file system connector in the Prancer validation framework. We have different type of file system connectors. First, I talk about the local path. Here's a sample file I have here for the file system connector, which is connected to a local path on your system. You can see the file type is a structure. The type is file system. The company name is some information in this file. We don't have any logic based on this. And then the folder path. In this example, you can see I have an absolute path to a folder which I have my resources over there. For example, this is a data folder, the same folder that I have here, and I have two JSON files as their resources. So here you can create a file system connector which connect to one of your local folders. The next option is connect to a remote Git, and we have the same kind of attributes for the file type and company name. We have the Git provider, which is the remote Git address that we are putting here, the branch name that we want to check out locally, and then whether that Git provider repository is private or the public. So by providing this information in the JSON file, you can have a Git connector available for connecting to a public repository. The next item, we have a private repository for the Git and connecting via HTTPS connection. Again, we have some familiar attributes here, the Git provider and the branch name. We have the HTTPS username and HTTPS password. And also the private attribute is true. It means this Git repository is a private repository, so it should use this user and password to connect to the repo. Putting the password in the connector file is good for testing purposes, but if you want to use the system for your CI/CD pipeline, it's always recommended to keep the password and all the secrets out of the connector file. So it's possible if I remove this line from here and then my shell, I can export a value with the name of the HTTPS user, and the value will be my password. So if I export this environment variable in my shell and running the framework, when the Prancer framework wants to connect, it finds this username, it tries to get the password from the shell. Also, we have another type of connector. We can connect to a Git provider with SSH authentication. We have the familiar attributes here. We have SSH key file. This is the absolute path to the private key on your local system. The SSH user and SSH host, in this case the github.com. And also you can see that the repository is a private. So whenever the framework wants to connect to that Git provider, use the SSH user and also the private key from this absolute path here. These are all different types of file system connector in the Prancer validation framework.